Hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Digital Platform MSME webinar. I am Preeti, and it's my pleasure to host today. Throughout our time together, sir, we will explore data security and its challenges, from insightful panel discussion to interactive workshop. There is something here for everyone. Before we started, I would especially like to thank Mr. Santanu Parida, sir, our Mission Director at Niti Aayog, Mr. Ramesh Bishnoi, sir, IT technocrat entrepreneur for their valuable time, and our Manish Sharma, sir, CTO of Manacle Technology. So I want to introduce Mr. Santanu Parida, sir. He is the mission director of the Niti Aayog, and now he is promoted as a joint secretary of PMO. Santanu, sir, please start from your side.
Okay.
Yes, sir, please start.
Yeah. So, data security, I'm going to explain the basics here. If you look at the present situation, data is the most valuable asset for any organization of any size. Loss or corruption of financial report, business plan, intellectual property can even bring a global enterprise to the standstill. The same app we are using for communication today, it went through a data breach, and we all could see what kind of repercussions it will bring on them. So this is something we need to be very, very serious about. Moreover, a wide range of compliances regulation mandate organizations to protect information in accordance with data security best practices. So we all have best data security best practices, and those practices makes data secure. If you try and explain data security to a layman, or information security is the use of various type of controls to safeguard content in both electronic and physical form. So it could be in electronic form, it could be in physical form. So data security or information security is the use of various type of control to safeguard content in the electronic form and in physical form. So there is some foundational principle in which data security get defined. Number one is confidentiality. That your data, the person, the application, or anything you are sharing the data with, the confidentiality becomes very, very important and sensitive operation of the data security. Number two, integrity. Data needs to be safeguarded from the improper erasure or modification. This is my data. I cannot allow my data to get erased or get manipulated by other people. So integrity of the data is very, very important in a longer run. If you want to sustain data security for a longer run, you need integrity. Number three, availability. Information must be available when needed. If your data is not available when it is required, there is no use of having data, cloud data. What would be the use of it? So availability, information must be available when it is required. For example, your financial database must be available for your accountant to process the payment transactions. If they are not available at the right time, your financial transaction cannot be processed. So then what is the use of data in the cloud? So data security important क्यों है? The most important thing is operational continuity. If you want to maintain operational continuity, you need data security. Without proper data security, you cannot ensure operational continuity. Data security protection helps to prevent disruptions in the business operation. It helps to help all of us in the government, in the private sector. I have worked with private sectors. So operational continuity के लिए they need the data not to be breached. And as other people will explain you, financial risk is very, very is going through a lot of transactional thing. You would have been heard about a lot of financial risk, financial scams. So data security is important because it reduces the financial risk. And there are obligations, legal obligations. India is part of a lot of alliances where data security comes in the first important factor. So legal and compliance obligations are very important. The protecting intellectual property is very, very important. And data security helps us to protect intellectual property. Data needs protection. So important thing is which data need protection. So if you talk about which data needs protection, business critical data, which comprises of data assets of the company, that in the first place need a lot of protection. Then comes private information, who are using the application or using the cloud are very, very important. Private information cannot be leaked. It could actually endanger a lot of things. However, organization cannot afford to waste resources trying to safeguard every file and every folder. So whether it contains critical intellectual IP or just pictures from the company's picnic. So when you are protecting the data, you try hard to protect every data possible. You cannot actually signify if this data is important, this data is not. There are companies like Oracle who are trying to do that, but in a longer run, you cannot protect everything every time. So what you need is you need to primary data or default data. You need to pick up important data which you need to protect. How do and how they do it? So authentication is very important. If you authenticate every data, then you know which data can be breached, which is very fragile to be hashed and be leaked. So authentication is very important. There are multi-factor authentications are coming in. There are a lot of things that we are trying a lot of things at this moment from the government's end also to try and protect data in the government portals, government applications. But in a longer run, if you see the data of COVID patients also leaked, there are a lot of precautions have been taken. But I believe at some point in time, all those precautions go for a toss. That's why you need access control. Who are controlling your data? Who has the access to the data? That is also very important. If you know who are accessing your data, then you can always find a leak and try to work on the leak to stop it. And as today's time, everybody is using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is using an encryption model. In encryption model, I am sending you a message, you are sending me a message. The message is encrypted from both ends. So data is protected. Data erasers are used. If you are done with the data, erase the data. Nobody is going to talk about it. And if you delete right amount of data, at some point in life, if you try to find the photos, you will not get it. But if those photos get leaked to the public forum, it could be sometime embarrassing. So if the photo is not right to be leaked from things or any financial report could not be leaked to the public, then you have to protect it with the data eraser. Data masking, there is a lot of data masking is happening. The example is Aadhaar. If you look at Aadhaar, Aadhaar is a very protected thing because it was masked by a code, masked by something called, there are multi-layer of protection for the data. I was just completing actually. I was talking about why should a lot of organizations, even the governments are focusing on data security. The point is when there is data breach, it costs a lot to the company, costs a lot to the government. So data breach is a security event when critical data is accessed or disclosed by the viewer. And then what happens is due to data breach, cyber attacks happen, data theft happen, loss of device containing protected information happen, human errors also happen. So the point is government or every organization is trying their best so that the data breaches doesn't happen and they could protect the cost of data breaches. So what we need at this moment is strict compliance regulations and steep penalty. If you can't have all these, if you can in a longer run will distract the public to a data protection thing. When you need data protection thing, the primary aim of the government is the data protection. Actually, government of India faces a lot of a very high amount of problematic data accesses, but government cannot do anything about it because we are actually too much of a democracy. A lot of people go out and do all those band, all those protests. So that causes a lot of problems. Government want to control the data intake and outtake because they want to control the flow of the information. In longer run, it is going to help only the government. Nobody else is going to get, and when we talk about government, it is essentially public. And what we need is protection. And the problem government is facing is limited resources, and there are a lot of budgetary constraints. In a longer run, what we need is sophistication of data threats are increasingly becoming a threat to the whole system. There are a lot of systematic error which we could not find in our system. It has been pointed out by the hackers or people who understand it. There are SQL injections, ransomware, phishing scams going on in this country. There are a lot of Netflix series you will find on phishing. And if that is happening, the people who are in the power, they don't have enough expertise to handle it. In the longer run, we need to build a framework so that solid data security, we could strategize that. We need to identify, we need to protect, we need to detect, we need to respond, and we need to recover. There are 5 important things. If someone want to write it out, they can write it out. What you need is you need to identify and understand the cyber security risk. Then you have to protect yourself, your system in them. Then you have to detect where the problem is and how you can respond to it. And at the end of the day, you need resources in your disposal to recover. And there are a lot of technologies are coming in which help with data protection, data discovery and classification. Data encryption is already happening in Instagram and WhatsApp. The government need to take care of it. A lot of applications in India need encryption as well. We are putting them into places saying that please aap ye kar lo, which is very important. Dynamic data masking is happening in Aadhaar. User and entity behavior analytics is happening in Uber, in I think in Rapido, in Ola. Changing management and auditing. You need internal auditing. If the system knows it has been hacked, we could actually save the system. If everybody keeps saying कि नहीं हमारे साथ कुछ नहीं हुआ, how can we save them? Data protection laws तो हैं, but to enforce data protection law, people need to come out and say कि नहीं यहाँ पे गलतियां है. Backup and recovery in the personal level is very important. Data loss prevention, DLP, is very important at this moment. You cannot allow data loss to happen. You need to go to people and understand there is data loss prevention happening. And for data loss prevention, you need a lot of things. Email security firing, email security filtering systems are happening. And with that, you need those filtering systems to be dealt with. Steps to strengthen your data security. And I believe other people will take over from now and they will discuss much more. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much, Santanu sir. Thank you so much for giving your time. And I just go forward with the Ramesh sir.
Hope you can see my presentation.
Yeah, it is visible, sir. Please start.
And I hope audible to all. Am I audible to all?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you were.
Okay. First of all, good evening and namaskar to everyone. As like content of this webinar is cloud data security and its challenges. So I will cover my presentation. I think there are less than 10 minutes or so I will try to complete in this minute. So I will go with like this. First is what is the cloud data security, and then challenges of data security. Before I start, I just want to go about brief my introductions in less than 1 minute. As Manish mentioned that myself Ramesh Bishnoi, I am an IT professional and worked with the company like IBM, and now I am an entrepreneur and set up a company Binary 29 Techno Solutions which is a IT service provider. And I have a total almost 22-year experience. Last 15 years, I'm out of India, currently in Dubai, and traveling between India and other part of the world. And work for different kind of customer, government, hospitality, health sector, aviations, and IT industries. To start with, what is cloud data security? I think Shubhendu has, I think, Suvanshu has explained enough what is the cloud data security, but still I will just summarize. Cloud data security is a practice of protecting the data and other informations from the security threats, risk, human error, and also the insider threats. And how it protect? We have a technology, process, and policies which keep the data confidentiality and accessible to those whom we want to provide the access. And it should be the need to know basis environment access. It focus on the framework which include a variety of controls, tools, which is mainly focus on confidentiality, integrity, and availability for both rest and during the transmit of the data. And it enough control the data security represent a specialized discipline of security that goes to traditionals and data protections. Having said that, we have many challenges, but I will just outline some of the data security challenges what we have. First, since the cloud is a new technology, and still I think there is a lack of security strategies on the top layer, on the CTO and the CEO level, and because of that, there are a lot of, I think, security unskilled professionals are there. There's a lack of professionals required to manage the cloud data. And the second one is the lack of data visibility and less control, since we don't know where is the data stored and where are our application is running, where are our inventory hosted. So there are lack of visibility of our data. And also our data are hosted on third-party infrastructure, and we have a less control. So this is one of the biggest challenge as well. We have a since cloud, I think, version and involved since last 4-5 years, especially. And then I think there are a lot of compliance guidelines as well. So we need to adhere these and need to work to follow these compliance guidelines. We can name few like PCT DSS and HIPAA etc. So protecting the data is also required. At the same time, we need to follow the compliances enforced by the entities and the government as well. We were struggling since beginning about the identity access management, and now this is also one of the biggest challenges as well in the cloud, and where we don't know who is authenticating, accounting, and getting the access to our database. We don't have access controls, and I think most of the cloud provider is still using single factor authentication. They do not have monitoring and logging system. So this is also one of the biggest challenges as well. The next one is distributed data storage. So we know that data is stored somewhere, we don't know, on the international servers, and getting the data, fetching the data over the internet will have an issue like latency and flexibility as well. So we need to face, we are facing these issues, and this is also having problem like high latency sensitive applications, which will not had earlier in our traditional data centers. So this is also one of the biggest challenge for cloud data security. We also have issues, and I think this is also spreading out. I believe in the coming days, by setting the processes, maybe I think address like which is confusion over shared responsibility. Still, we don't know, or we have a lack of, where the shared responsibility. Some are about for the service provider, and some of the distributed on the people or administration of the people who are accessing the data. So still, it is one of the biggest challenge. Also, the next one is inconsistent coverage as well. Many businesses are finding multi-cloud and hybrid cloud to better suit their business need, but different providers offer varying level of coverage and capabilities that can deliver inconsistent protection. So inconsistent coverage is also one of the biggest challenges as well. I think Shantanu has also emphasized more on cybersecurity as well. I think this is one of the biggest challenge, cybersecurity, where the cloud data store make ideal target for online criminal looking for a big payback, especially as companies are still educating themselves about data handling and management in the cloud. If you see one of the report in 2023, the global average cost of data breach surged to USD 4.5 million approx, making a 50% increase over 3 years. So I think cyber security threat is also one of the biggest challenge for cloud data security. There are the other challenges which are the traditional. I think we in the traditional data center as well, like misconfigurations, human error. So that is also carrying to the cloud data security and the cloud data centers as well. Still, there are the next one is encryptions and the key management. We are accessing the data. Some of the data is accessing without any encryptions, like VPN or any other key management, where we need to have we need to secure our data. So we need to have a data encrypted as well, and also to be when travel over the internet, it has to be have some kind of a secure mechanism so that data can be secure. We also noticed that on the service provider, there is a lack of a regular data backup. And I think that is also one of the biggest challenge or the problems when we face that as and when we required, the backup was not available. So this is also one of the processes we need to define, or the service provider has to define on their day-to-day task. Last one, but not the least, the malicious insider. I think this is carrying since beginning that the IT is involved. Still, there are many insiders, especially the people when they work, and there are a lot of leakage of the data because of the malicious insider. So these are the all challenges of the cloud data security we have. And as I mentioned, by through 3 different control, technology, process, and policies and solutions, we are able to overcome from these challenges and put some controls which can define these challenges. Having said that, I am finished my presentations. Any questions I can take?
Any questions from the team? Okay, thank you so much, Ramesh sir. Thank you so much. And sir, I just like to invite Mr. Manish Sharma sir, CTO of Manical Technologies.
Hello everyone. Myself Manish, and I am just heading the technological part in Manical Technologies. We are a FMCG brand and a product-based company which basically are developing multiple kind of projects to various organizations, including FMCG and others. So I mean, part of my technologically,
Sorry to interrupt you, Manish sir.
understanding.
Manish sir, please on your video, if
Okay.
possible.
Yeah. Yes. Sure. I have already done that. So guys, like I have just to brief about myself. I have almost 22 years of experience in IT, starting and most of the time I was included in technology part only. So I have been grown up from the systems which are basically monolithic. They are directly and on premise and basically a single tenant, single monolithic environment to systems which are on AWS, Azure, and cloud. So basically, when we say cloud, so why everybody organization is moving to cloud? Because they want to lower down their infrastructure costs. So data security was a concern for every technology from start of our any system. But growing on cloud is basically security is becoming more and more important, because as per when we say cloud, there are like different kind of like already the speaker has already mentioned, like organizations basically move to cloud of lowering their infrastructure costs and concentration on their core functionalities rather than on the infrastructure and managing others. So companies like cloud providers are come up with some such solutions which are basically using virtualization. But again, there are few challenges which are inherent, like security, security means data security. It's authorization and authentication. Like the concerned person can only view the data and the data set which they are allowed to. So this is a major security concern, and I think that's also related to the lot of programming. And again, so the next thing is like storage. Storage is like again we go onto the cloud, but again it inherently the infrastructure and all DevOps are basically uh, uh, all those functions are driven by the cloud provider itself. So we need to understand a lot of uh, you can say technologies and different features to understand like how those work, and most of those knowledge gaps introduces the security concerns. Again, the next point is data, most of the cases we try to make the backup of the data. So when we try to say, when we say backup, then again it comes to boils down to the disaster management. Like in case of any discrepancy happen, in case of any issues happen, then we need to recover our lost data, or we take from the backup. But again, poor handling of the backups, and again on cloud, if everything is on cloud, then again it creates a security concern there also. So the backup also need to be secured alone. So most of the times that particular challenge are not adhered properly in many organizations. The cloud, when we transport our system to cloud, and the foremost data comes to the localization. Like we forget, like the cloud servers are inherently are globally located. So latency, localization, time frames. So these kind of security concerns may come into the picture, which may create a bottleneck in our applications. So I'm just talking about a technology kind of front because I'm a technology guy. And the last is confidentiality. And again, confidentiality to it's like who should be the part of the cloud data, then who is authorized to view that, enter into the system, and who is basically authorized to view a particular data set. So this all compromises a multiple level of structures, and the data the data security can be well governed into multiple layers, and we can manage in our code. But again, there is a trade-off. When we go to the cloud, definitely infrastructure cost has been dropped, goes to the minimum. But again, if poorly maintained applications on the cloud does not basically creates a lot of loopholes, a lot of gaps in and that compromises of the data security. So in the end, I have like overall my experience. I think like there are three kind of areas where we can handle these. We can handle these kind of challenges. Like first of all is employee. Whenever we hire an employee, so always there's a lack of employee screening and hiring processes. So we do not the hiring processes must be proper. Like we should hire like the authentication of that person employee should be done. So it basically emphasize on the the correct person which is coming onto the organization. The second is customer itself. If customer is mischievous, then obviously again on cloud it can handle it. Again, that's a different task which normally is not easy to do. The last is education. So the only thing is which I have seen that the proper knowledge sharing, proper security concern, and regularly updating your policies and clearly creating documents and how these data can be secured can be very beneficial for any organization. So I guess I conclude my sense to this particular webinar about the data security, and anyone who has any queries or questions can just shoot.
I think, sir, there is no queries. And sir, thank you so much, Manish, sir. It's really a big challenge of data security, sir. And data is the most important thing for every company, for everyone. And thank you so much to Manish sir, Ramesh sir, and Santanu sir to deliver us such knowledgeable information to us. And thank you for your valuable time, sir.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining this webinar, and I hope we have shared some knowledge and which can be beneficial.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ramesh sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ramesh sir.
Thank you.